Hey, this is Christien Ducharme. I work for HRC Honda, and let's go over Jett Lawrence's bike. Front end, the type of handlebars he runs is the Renthal 827s. Position on the bike is about parallel with the forks. The grips, it's a soft compound Renthal. Bar mounts, it works bar mount to go with our clamps. They're fairly tall, plus we have a 3mm tie pin, so they're one of the taller options that he runs. The triple clamps, Supercross, we're running 22s, 22mm offset. They're our works clamps. Clutch and brake levers are ARC, and they're just billet. Our front brake master cylinder, we run a works one. It has a bigger plunger in it, bigger piston. The window, we keep it open. Steering stem, we have a tie steering stem that goes with our works clamp. And then Jett runs a steering stabilizer. He runs his steering very, very, very tough, like it's very tight. Front forks are Showa kit forks. Supercross, he's at 4mm fork height. We use the Works Connection hole shot device. Jett runs it at 120mm from the top of the guard to the center of the button. We add straps to the fork guard. They have for the hole shot button, just a little metal, just safety straps, so it helps not rip the fork guard off. Our fork lugs are just Showa billet fork lugs, definitely stronger from the stock cast. Front axle is tie. Front brake rotor on Yutaka, the Works hanger for the front caliper. Factory Nissan calipers, pistons, and we use just carbon rotor guard. It runs the Dunlop 768 front. The wheel, we got the DID LTX, is just a Works hub. Fuel tank, we run OE, just the stock tank. The fuel, just a VP Pro 6. We have Works radiators. Not a whole lot different than stock, just the outside edges are a little thicker, for a little more sturdy. We use CV4 radiator hoses, aluminum throttle tube, a little more durable versus the stock. Our engine is done in-house. We have our own R&D and engine builder. Jett's pretty, he likes power all over, bottom, mid, top. He's not too picky, just he likes a nice broad power curve. Clutch spring's pretty down the middle, not too easy, not too stiff, but he likes the engagement to be right at the end, you have to pull it in too far. Engine hangers, we run the stock engine hangers, just a 6mm hole drilled in them. Just have a primary cover, cerakoted. We have our water pump cover agadized. Water pump spigot, we have a Works one. It's the same style as stock. It just bolts into the primary cover. More safety, because the stock one sometimes can come out or back out a little bit. We don't want that. We have a backup starter button located under the right frame spar. Button fails, or rider gets in an accident and crashes and damages the button in a way it can't be used. There's no way to really start it. Secondary button really helps those circumstances. We've moved a couple of our electronics around, not really for weight distribution, just more so for cleaner design. Jett runs grip tape on the side of the frame, just helps a little more grip through the whoops and a lot of other different aspects on the track. We have a carbon skid plate made. Yoshimura makes our exhaust systems. We have a few different header designs and exhaust can designs, lengths and different shapes and all that. But Jett's pretty down the middle. The design is actually production Yoshimura design. O2 sensor helps a lot with just the mapping. Brake pedal, we have a Works brake pedal. It's just regular aluminum. Getting caught as an adjuster bolt in the back that hits the frame, so you can't rip the pedal up too far and rip the guts out of the master cylinder. Works master cylinder for the rear. Clevis is made by Hinson. Jett runs his brake pedal really high, so we have a longer one made for that. Just use the stock spring and stock brake line. The window is removed on the Works master cylinder. Linkage, our pull rods in Delta are billet. Rear shock, we got Showa kit shock. I mean, it's fairly stiff, especially after going back and forth from Moto to Supercross. The thing doesn't feel like it moves. Spring material is titanium. Rear brake rotors, Yutaka, and the caliper is stock. And then the brake pads are stock as well. Rear axle, we have a tie rear axle made. Axle blocks. The axle blocks, Hinson makes us axle blocks, and there's actually a pin in there. Pins itself to the axle, so when you do quick tire changes and such, it won't, you don't gotta mess with the axle block and the axle being misaligned. Rear tire, Jett runs a 110, which is pretty standard on all 250s. 120 only if the track's really, really slick or blue groove, give a little more traction. Rear rim, we have the DID LTX, and we have Works spokes because the Works rear hub is a 36 hole versus the OEM 32, so we have to have special spokes made. Sprockets chain, Renthal. We run a rivet master link for racing, and the rear sprocket bolt we have titanium. Chain guides, we just have OEM. Actual chain guide, all the rubber material is OEM, and then the bracket is actually, it's a Works part. It just doesn't have the front window on it to help with mud packing up. Jett runs just a stock subframe. Our air filter, Twin Air makes it's called a big filter. It's just a very open porous filter, helps with more airflow. Foot pegs, we run Works foot pegs, they're titanium, and the foot peg pins are on steel. The shifter is made of aluminum, and the tip's actually a little bit extended as well. Extended in the length of the tip and how long the tip is. Actually, the position of it is different. Swing arm pivot is titanium. Our case saver material is just our clutch arm. We have little hole tapped into it because we have a clutch sensor that is hooked onto the clutch cable bracket that bolts it to the case half, and then also a little bolt holds a string onto the clutch arm. Ignition cover, we run a mag ignition cover. We got a light seat foam. Yeah, you always get the typical, man, the seat's so tough compared from practice bike to race bike. You know, we try to do our best to keep their practice bike stuff as fresh, but you know, usually a race is, it's always the freshest stuff, so it's a little bit stiffer, but he's not awfully too picky about it. Plastics, we run OEM plastics, and then the Cycra Stadium front number plate. Graphics, throttle jockey, very minimal graphics that are on the motorcycle, which helps save weight for us. Data acquisition, rear suspension, we have rear wheel speed, we have the clutch sensor.